Hello, everybody. Part two to my controversial video, Don't Think Like a Victim. I always talk too much and I run out of time. I use a program which gives me 30-minute slots, and I always promise myself I'll only talk for half of that, and then I always run out of time. Anyway, to recap, if you haven't seen part one, I'll put the link down below with this and you can go to it. I was talking about the things that we post on social networking sites when we've fallen into the victim mentality trap, okay? And the fourth one, the last one I'd written on my list was this. And this, I think this will be potentially controversial, the sort of thing that will cause people to react. But it is, only if you suffer from anxiety will you know how I feel. And anxiety is a big thing these days. I know it is, I promise you, because again, in my line of work, a lot of people come to me and they tell me I suffer from anxiety. And this has interested me. So if we are putting up on social networking site, that you will only understand me if you also suffer from anxiety. Well, kind of what we're doing is we're creating a group of us who know, us who suffer. But do you know what the reality of it is everybody is anxious. Everybody is anxious. I am anxious. I promise you. I have anxiety over things in my life. I have close dealings with people who, they've ended up becoming very depressed. I mean, seriously depressed, not just feeling a bit fed up or disillusioned with life or downhearted. And at the bottom of it is often, it's anxiety, fear and anxiety. And so I am not dissing anxiety, but what I am saying is that we need to start viewing it differently than we do. Okay, that's really important, because if we think that we're in a particular group of people and only we know how it feels, we're in a group of people who feel the same way we do. So there's no real power there. So, okay, we can have people sympathize with us. We can have people say, oh, I know how you feel. But how does that help us? And, this is going to be controversial, or some people will react against it. I have come across people who use anxiety as an excuse. And if you challenge that, they get very angry. They get very reactive and go, you don't know what I've been through. You don't know what I've experienced. But again, nobody knows how anybody else feels. You can have 10 people have exactly the same life experience, but they're not all going to perceive it in the same way. They're not all going to react the same way. They're not all going to respond the same way. So it is personal and individual. And I am not, as I said, I'm going to repeat, I am not dissing anxiety. I have really lived with it, and I still do. Anybody who's out there in the world trying to make up their way in the world, anybody who's juggling plates, metaphorically speaking, anybody who's managing family, trying to earn a living, trying to learn new stuff, trying to find a way forwards, dealing with setbacks and difficulties that come up in everyday life, we're anxious, We're anxious. I'll never get to where I want to be. I'll never get out of this situation. But you know what? Anxiety is our friend if we know how to use it. And that is going to be the subject of another video. Okay, all on its own. Anxiety is our friend. And if we can understand it, if you go to my website, I have a little shop which I've got a few downloadable audio recordings in. I'm going to add to that. One of them is about anxiety. It's a couple of pound. Okay, it's a couple of pound, and that's all it is. But I am going to make a video on the subject as well. So I'll just recap quickly what I went through in the first video and now. We were talking about it being possible to be a victim without thinking like one. It is possible. And all we're really interested in is where we can go from here. That's it. We want to create a new story, okay? We're not saying the old story didn't exist. We're not forgetting it or pretending it didn't exist, but we want to create a new one. And signs of thinking like a victim are hanging on to past hurts, continuing to blame others, asking why me, saying things like everyone lets me down, posting statuses on social networking sites, like no one knows that she has tears in her eyes. She smiles and pretends she is fine. Don't judge me till you've walked in my shoes. Strong women cry their tears behind closed doors. And only if you suffer from anxiety will you know what I feel like. And there's many more, I'm sure, but I'm just using those as an example. None of that is bad or wrong because we all have anxiety and we've all been hurt and we've all been let down. But again, it's about personal empowerment as far as I'm concerned. And it's about, this is where I stand today. This is my story up to today. Some people have a better story, some people have a worse story, but this is my story. But you know what? I know I want a better story than this. So I'm not going to let this stuff prevent me from creating and living a new story. And if anybody feels offended or hurt by what I've said, I'm really, really sorry. That's not the intention. My intention is completely the opposite, is to help you to be able to say, okay, I don't want to be in this place. There's some useful tips in here. There's some things that maybe give me a wee bit of a wake-up call. I'm going to have a look at them. And there's so much wonderful information out there that's absolutely free of charge if we don't have much money that can help us. I've used that stuff a lot in my life. Well, not in my life, only in the last few years, because it wasn't available throughout most of my life. But, so there we go. So that's the end of the second part of the Don't Think Like a Victim video. And do look out for my video on anxiety. Okay, I've got one out as well on low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is not your fault. Okay, have a look. You might find something in there that's helpful to you. And don't forget, I have a website. I am a professional personal empowerment consultant, an intuitive personal empowerment consultant. I use my intuitive skills and my coaching skills to help people. I have wonderful testimonials. I can't help everybody. Not everybody likes me, so yeah, I'm sure you'll find one or two people out there who will have stuff to say about me, but largely speaking, it's worked pretty well enough for me to still be in business 20 odd years down the line. Okay. So I'll put the link down below. I write blogs as well as my videos. So there's always something there of interest. Okay. So then take care and catch you again. Bye.